Because with inflation year after year, if you have money just sleeping in your bank account, it is losing value. So this means that if you've got $1 million in the bank, with an inflation rate of 10% a year, each year you'd be losing 100k. And so in 10 years, you would have literally nothing. In this video, we are going to analyze how to invest for beginners starting with $100 from Mark Tilbury. So if you are a beginner and you only have $100 to invest, or you know what, less than $1,000, how should you go about investing that money? What should you do? Let's find out.
So have you ever had $100 in your pocket and wondered how you could turn it into $1,000, $10,000 or even $100,000? Well, sadly, this isn't something they teach in school. Come to think of it, it'd have been pretty awesome if they had.
They don't teach it in school for a reason, because honestly, most teachers, they don't know anything about money. Otherwise, believe me, they would not be teachers in school. They would have chosen a different kind of job, maybe even started their own business. And that's why personally, I chose not to go to business school, because what was the point of getting massively in debt just to get some degree and then go on and be an employee? That's not the path that I wanted to follow. I wanted to bet on myself and to start my own online business. And truthfully, why would I learn from people who had not made any money whatsoever? Most of the professors in university teaching you about business, they don't even have a business. So I learned everything I know today by watching YouTube videos, reading many books on money and on personal finances, on very specific topics as well, and also, most importantly, by following online courses by successful people. Some courses were great, some courses were not that great, but either way, I always learned something, and it allowed me to be where I am today. And it's only thanks to starting my own online business that I've been able to build this kind of life for myself. If instead I had decided to go to university, this would have never been possible.
It seems pretty scary for most beginners to get started in investing.
I like to say that it's only risky to invest in something when you don't know what you're doing. You know, a lot of people, they're going to say that investing is risky, starting a business is risky, and oftentimes they're going to say 9 out of 10 businesses fail, and it's supposed to scare you away. But in reality, the question I ask is, how come 9 businesses out of 10 fail? In reality, when you look closer, you analyze things in depth, you realize it's 9 out of 10 people that fail. And also, when people tell you that statistic, it's kind of like they're trying to say you don't control the outcome. And to some degree that might be true, but you get to significantly influence the outcome that you get. So if your business fails, most likely you've done things wrong. Because if you followed the correct path, the correct blueprint, you would have gotten to your goal. Believe it or not, but in business, to be successful, to make $1 million, $10 million, or even more than that, you don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. You need to learn from somebody who is where you want to be and then apply their advice. Execute massively day after day until you get what you want. That's exactly what I did. And believe me, I am a massive overthinker and I'm also a massive perfectionist. So when I started my first business, I would just think too much instead of acting too much. Because honestly, in business, you cannot take too much action. If anything, most people, they don't do enough, and that's why they don't get the sort of results that they want. That, or they're not doing the right thing. That's why you need to learn before you invest in something, whether it be real estate, whether it be the stock market, or even before starting your own online business. You need to do a lot of research on the topic. Remember, it's only risky to invest in something when you have no idea what the hell you're doing. But it's on you for not doing your research.
I'm not saying becoming rich is easy, but by taking calculated risks, you'll be able to grow your wealth over time. I understand that everyone has a different risk tolerance, so today I'm going to be revealing how to invest for beginners with $100. And as we go through the video, the risk is going to increase, but remember, as the risk goes up, so does the potential reward.
It's true that typically the higher the risk, the higher the reward. It makes a lot of sense. In life, the more sacrifices you make, the more action you take. Usually as you do that, you get rewarded a lot more. And that makes a lot of sense. If you work more, if you put more effort into what you do, you should be able to get better results. Otherwise, nobody would push harder. Nobody would challenge their limits if it didn't give them a better outcome. Now I'm very curious, what is the way that is the least risky to invest $100 or $1,000? You know what? Let's find out.
When someone asks me how they should invest $100, I usually say invest in yourself. You can do this by buying books and improving your skills.
That is literally step one. Honestly, if you have $100 to invest, or $1,000, $2,000, or less than that, I'm not actually recommend that you invest in the stock market, or in real estate, or in any other things like collector items. Instead, what I recommend that you invest in, it's knowledge. So this can be coaching, this can be books, this can be online courses. The medium doesn't really matter as long as it helps you to gather the necessary knowledge to reach your goal. And now you may say, okay, that's great, but what kind of knowledge should I acquire? Should I research how to invest in the stock market? Should I research how to invest in real estate? You know, one thing that you need to understand is that it's a different thing to become rich and also to stay rich and to get richer. To give you an example, what gets you to $5,000 a month, it is not going to get you to $1 million a month most of the time. Because sometimes to get to the next level, it's not always simply about doing more. Sometimes it becomes about taking a different path, using a different strategy to get to your goal. To give you an example, if you do freelancing jobs, you could technically speaking get to $10,000 a month just by doing this. However, could you make $1 million a month if you do freelancing jobs all day? Obviously not. You see that there is a limit. So what should you do with that $100 or that $1,000?
The first investment is a high interest savings account. This is a 1 out of 10 on the risk scale, so the lowest possible risk that you can have. Nowadays, it's extremely hard to find any savings account that will pay a substantial amount of interest.
It's true that it is very difficult to find a savings account that will pay you high interest rates. It's not like investing in the stock market. And even then, when you invest in the stock market, some people are going to try to buy some stocks and then to resell them. But at this point, it's not investing in the stock market per se, it's trading. And day trading, it is very, very risky. So the reward is very high, but for most people, they will simply lose all of their money. You've got to understand that it's a full-time job. It's kind of like investing in real estate. A lot of people seem to think that doing it on the side is going to make them a millionaire. And for some people, that might have been the case. But honestly, if you want to get to 6 figures a year, 7 figures a year, there are ways that are much more efficient to do this rather than investing in real estate or in the stock market. Also, remember what I said about it's a different thing to become rich and then to stay rich and to multiply your wealth? The truth is, rich people invest in real estate, in cryptocurrencies sometimes, or in the stock market, but not for the reasons that you would think. The reason they do that is to protect their wealth, to secure their assets, and also of course to multiply it. Why exactly, you might ask? Because with inflation year after year, if you have money just sleeping in your bank account, it is losing value. So this means that if you've got $1 million in the bank, with an inflation rate of 10% a year, each year you'd be losing 100k, and so in 10 years you would have literally nothing. So that goes to show you, when you've got some money, you need to invest it, otherwise you lose it all at some point. And that is exactly why rich people invest in real estate properties or the stock market or other things. And that is also why the middle class and the poor class, they keep losing money year after year, and they keep struggling more and more, because usually they don't have any assets. However, usually they own many liabilities, and the difference between an asset and a liability is that an asset is going to gain value over time. For instance, a real estate property, luxury watches, collector items, the stock market. But on the opposite, liabilities are going to lose value year after year. Think about buying a car, unless it's a collector car, or think about buying the new iPhone. Those things, they take money out of your pocket. They don't put money in your pocket. And now you may think, okay, but rich people have those things. They have the nice cars, they have the iPhones, they go and travel all over the world, they have fun, they fly business class or even private. So how come they're still that rich if they have all of those liabilities? I mean, middle class people don't fly private. You see, most of the time, this is how the story goes. Somebody starts a business, they turn it into a massive success, and then they reinvest in the business, of course, but with some of the profits generated with that business, they invest in other things like real estate, the stock market, collector items, etc. And then what they do is that they live off of their investments. To give you an example, if you got $20,000 per month from your stock market investments, like you received $20,000 a month's worth of dividends, this could completely pay for your lifestyle. And then you also keep growing your business, and then you reinvest some of the profits again in different investments. And as you can see, year after year, your wealth is going to grow along with your net worth. Now, the average millionaire is 57 years old, and most of them have at least 7 streams of income. Now, does it mean that you should start to try these different side hustles or to have many different income streams at the same time? If you are a complete beginner, obviously not. The reason why is because you only have so much time, energy, and resources to allocate to literally anything. Like the time that you're spending, for instance, watching Netflix, it could be time that you're not spending doing something else. But honestly, we all have 24 hours a day, so we all need to make sacrifices when it comes to that. The time that you spend watching Netflix, you could use it to go to the gym, or it can even be the opposite. The time that you spend at the gym, it's time that you cannot spend working or being with your friends or watching Netflix. So it's all a matter of priorities in the end. And when you are a beginner, you need to focus on one thing, on selling one product or one service to one market. And the reason I say that is because the best way to build great wealth, and that is even more true at a young age, is to start your own online business. Now, why do I say online business and not just business? You see, there is a difference between a brick and mortar business, like a hair salon, a gym, a spa, a restaurant, and an online business. With an online business, you can reach millions, even billions of customers literally from all over the world within just a few clicks. However, with a brick and mortar business, you are limited to the customers in your area. So if you have a gym, to give you an example, and let's say it's in London, you cannot welcome the people in Paris who want to go to the gym, unless they're on vacation, but that's a different story, you get my point. It's only the people that are nearby who are actually going to be able to become customers for your business. And then if you max out, like let's say the gym is full, the restaurant is full, what can you do? Usually you need to open up another gym, another hair salon, another restaurant in another location. But to begin with, to even open up your first gym, your first restaurant, you would need to come up with a lot of upfront capital. $50,000, $100,000, it really depends, especially if you're trying to open it up in a big city like London, Bangkok, Paris, it's going to cost a lot of money. And if you don't have that money because you don't come from a wealthy family, this means that you would either have to take out a loan, so get massively in debt, so you're taking on a lot of risk, because think about it, what happens if you cannot pay it off? Or if you want to open up that restaurant, that gym, you'd need to work your entire life and try to save up as much money as you could. But honestly, by the end of your life, especially with inflation, it's not even guaranteed that you would come up with 100k to start your gym or restaurant. And I'm sure that you will agree with me. If you are a millionaire at 57 years old, it's extremely impressive. Most people would definitely think that you are a massive success. However, let's be honest, if you become a millionaire in your 20s or in your 30s, it is 10 times more impressive. And a lot of people, honestly, they're not even going to believe that you're self-made. They will just think that you're a lucky rich kid. That's how extraordinary it is. But you see, there is one phenomenon I've been studying very closely over the last couple years. What I've noticed, and many studies have shown this as well, during the last recent decades, more and more people have been becoming millionaires younger. And when I mean younger, I mean at 20 or 30 or in between. It's something that we have never seen ever before in the entire history of mankind. I mean, just think about it. If 100 years ago you were from a low-income family, there was no internet, there was no TikTok, no YouTube, what would you do to build incredible wealth? You were pretty much screwed, because if you had wanted at the time to open up your own business, you would have needed to buy some land, open up some factories, hire staff, buy some materials. It would have costed so much startup capital. So if you didn't know the right people, you didn't have the right connections, or the access to the resources, the financial resources to start your business, what could you do? Your only real option was to climb up the corporate ladder, to try to get more responsibilities, to try to build a network, and to maybe one day either become the CEO of the business or have enough capital to start your own company. But as you can see, it would take you your entire lifetime to build wealth. Nowadays, thanks to the internet and to social media, we all have a crazy opportunity to build gigantic wealth. And your age is not even a limiting factor. If anything, the younger you are, the better. Because if you start at 15 compared to, let's say, at 25, you've got a massive edge right there. You are 10 years ahead of somebody who starts at 25. Honestly, if you ask me right now, what is your biggest regret? I would simply tell you not starting sooner. Because if I had started a year or two sooner, I would have been able to build this kind of life for myself 5 years earlier. So how come online businesses are so much better? It's because for most online businesses, you can start them for less than $10,000. And if that sounds a lot, there's plenty of businesses that you can start for less than $2,000, even less than $1,000. And honestly, some businesses, you can even start them for free. So if we go even more in depth, some online businesses are product-based and some are service-based. And the difference is that when it's a product-based business, you sell a physical product to customers, or it can even be a digital product sometimes, and then a service, well, it's pretty obvious, you simply provide a service to a customer. What I recommend that you do is that you start a service-based online business. Why? Because if you have to deal with physical products, you'll need to ship them, to manufacture them. You will also have to deal with stolen items, lost orders, returns, refunds. There is literally so much to deal with. And you have to realize it's not 2015 anymore. People are no longer willing to pay for AliExpress products that are overpriced simply because you put them on a pretty website. However, there's plenty of businesses or of individuals that need your help, that need your services. And even if you don't have any skills, technically speaking, you could still start a service-based business. To give you an example, let's say you don't have any skills, you have no idea what to do, but you still want to start your own online business. What I would personally do is that I would do a market analysis. So for instance, I would see that in the e-com pet niche, for instance, they are dying to get new leads and new customers. And like I said, we have no skills. So in that example, I don't have the skills to do lead generation for the e-com pet brands. And most people, this is where they give up. They think, oh, I don't have the skills, I can't do it. And so they never start their business and their dreams die with them. Most people make it all about them. They think they need to start a business based around their passion, about what they love. In reality, the only thing that you need to do is to provide the market with something that it actually wants and values. If you try to sell to people something that they don't want or that they don't need, you will never make a single sale. I can guarantee it. You'll just waste your time and you will end up frustrated, and some people might even give up on their dreams because of it. So if I had no skills, I couldn't provide that service directly for the customer, I would simply hire somebody, an experienced cheap contractor that I could pay, and then they can do work for my client. And the amazing part is that I wouldn't have to come up with the money up front to pay the contractor, because I simply have to find a potential customer, have a sales meeting with them, close them, and once I receive the money, I can hire somebody else to do the work. And then I need to make sure that the work is delivered on time to the client. And so what I do essentially is that I take a cut of the profits. You're like a middleman. Now, if you have a skill, you can do coaching. For instance, if you're in great shape, you could help other people to build muscle or to lose weight. To give you other examples, some people help women to find their ideal partners. Some people help others start their own online business. Some other people decide to help others to fix their marital issues. As you can see, you can literally be a coach in literally any niche. This business model is called consulting. Clients are willing to pay you anywhere from $1,500 a month all the way up to $10,000 per deal. Obviously, it depends on what you have to offer. If you offer fitness coaching to regular people, you won't be able to charge 10 grand for it. But if you sold a lead generation system to e-commerce brands, if thanks to you they make a nice return on investment, you could definitely charge 10k. It simply needs to be worth it for the customer to pay you that much. If you brought in 20k per month, technically speaking, they could pay you 10k. Now, obviously, I can't really go too in depth in this video because otherwise it's going to be 3 hours long. So if you want to figure out what is the best online business to start as a beginner and you want to know how to start this business that I shared with you, I have recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. We take a look at dropshipping, affiliate marketing, consulting, info products, and many more. And I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can use to start your business today and start getting your first customers literally today. If you're interested, the link is in the description below. And with that said, as always, I am waiting for you on the other side.